Hello, everybody. How's it going, friends? It is your boy MBRC1 again. Yeah. How you doing? How's it going? I'm good. How are you? Great. Awesome. I'm not using my pop filter today, so we're gonna see how that goes. I don't know. It's really a pain in the butt to use, and I'm not sure if it's doing anything at all. So, I thought I'd not use it. Um, So what is this? This is some old gameplay of me versus a friend of mine from League named Gabe Smar, and we're both using our cutter tap mats because we're G's. And the matchup is Seismitoad Bats versus I think it's YZG. It might just be Evil Tall though. It could just be straight Evil Tall Zoroark. Oh no, that looks like a Glade. Yeah, it's YZG. Um, so yeah, that's what this is. And I recorded it about, I'm going to say 2 months ago. Yeah, just about 2 months ago. And I just never uploaded it until now. And now that Worlds is over, I have a little bit of time to do commentary and edit it and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing today. That's what's going on. So I think I'm just gonna talk about Worlds because that just happened. I actually just give me a second here. Sorry, there's a little tickle in my throat. Anyway, so I don't know. Worlds was a little bit lackluster for me this year. I started off 2-0-2, undefeated, feeling pretty good. Thinking, all right, all I gotta do is win like, what was it, 8 rounds? Wait, what did I have to do? 6-2, 6 times 3, 18. 18 5. Yeah, so at 2-0-2, all I had to do was win 3 more games, and then I could just ID, and I'd be set. But I lost to Metal. I played against Alex Croxton, and I was using Toad Bats. I was using Seismic Toad Bats. If you wanna see my list or whatever, you wanna see my Toad Bats list that I used, you can just head over to cuttertap.com, and the most recent article has my exact list on it. You don't need to have a subscription or anything. The list is just in the free demo version. If you want to see the other options that I was considering and almost did play, I actually almost played Zoroark, then you can subscribe to a Stage 2 membership there if you'd like. But yeah, so I used that Toad Lugia Bats list. Connor Peterson actually got second place in seniors using the exact same list, so I knew afterwards that it was definitely good. It was just like some bad luck that hit me. What happened when I played against Alex was game one took, I don't know, a fair amount of time, pretty good amount of time, like 25 minutes or so, maybe a little more than that. And basically, I got down to 1 prize. I was really dominating. I delinquented him down to 0 cards in hand, and I was really just taking advantage of that game. I was doing everything I'm supposed to do in that matchup. I knew how to play that matchup just like inside out because I tested it a bunch before nationals, and I made my list like really good for beating Metal before nationals. So that's a big reason for why I had 5 water as well. A lot of people were asking me about that, but that's 5 water is really important in that matchup because it makes it so you can grenade hammer twice, and it makes it so you can grenade hammer like really quickly if you need to, which you do when you're going second a lot of the time. So yeah, I was playing that matchup, and I got down to 1 prize. And all I needed to do was Lysander up, a Genesect, Golbat, and Grenade Hammer it. And I would win. Or actually, no, I had Lugia, sorry. I was using my Lugia at the time. I had I had 2 DCEs on my Lugia and a Fighting Fury Belt, and I had a Stadium in my hand and a Golbat. So Golbat does 20 damage, and then Deep Hurricane with a Fury Belt does 160, and that's 180 total, if you're good with math. So all I need to do is Lysander's Genesect and knock it out. And I use notes while I'm playing in tournament, so I thought I had checked my prizes to see if my last Verse Seeker was in there or not. I figured the chances of my one last prize being Verse Seeker was really low, so I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure. I checked anyway because I write down if something's missing. So I didn't see anything in my notes about it being missing, so I was like, it's got to be in here. And I set up into the rest of my deck, and then the Verse Seeker isn't there, so I know it's the last prize, and I kind of just scoop from there. So I felt like that was just really poor luck, and there could be an argument made for just me being like more meticulous, like just paying a little more attention, like seeing what's prized next time. Maybe I went too fast or something. I don't know how I messed that up, but even if I did, I'm not sure if there's anything I could have done to make it so I would have been able to pull the game out. You know what I mean? Like, I think either way, I would have been left in a position where I wouldn't have been able to win, because what he did was he set up an Aegislash with like 3 energy on it, or 4 energy. I don't know. It was quite a few. And all I had was a Lugia with 2 double colors attached, and both my Silent Lab were in my discard pile. And as you guys may or may not know, I don't run Hex Maniac. So really, at that point, with or without the Verse Seeker, or with or without the knowledge of the Verse Seeker being prized, there's not, I can't do anything from there. Like, I I just lose. I had no Toads left. I had no energy left. So really, the only thing I can think I could have done was I had Super Rod, so I could have Super Rodded 2 Waters and a Toad back, and just tried to set up a. Oh yeah. So I had 1 water left, not no energy left. So I could have potentially attached water to Toad for 3 turns, and then Grenade Hammered that way. But I think I doubt that would have worked anyway, just because, he would have probably just Lysandered it and hit it twice before I could have knocked it out. Plus, I didn't have enough damage, to like one shot with Grenade Hammer. It would have been like me Grenade Hammering 2 turns in a row, instead of going like bat Grenade Hammer knockout. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was a whole lot I could have done. I think it was just really bad luck. But then again, I may have been able to do something if I checked, or if I was a little more prepared to not have that Verse Seeker. But even knowing that, just like it being the one last card of my prizes, is kind of ridiculous. I wasn't too salty though, just because I knew, like, I don't know. I just kind of, the whole day during that tournament, I was just kind of feeling like, whatever. I'm not gonna be super disappointed if I don't make the day 2. So I wasn't like, it wasn't the end of the world to me when it happened. I was already going 2-0-2, so like, I don't have a loss, but 2 ties also isn't great. It means I can only tie or win beyond that. So so that's how that went. But no big deal. My other ties, so that was a loss, and then my ties were to Pyroar and Night March, believe it or not. So Pyroar, I'll explain that one first. Pyroar is just really hard to deal with. The only way I was able to take a game on him was because, well, I used Skill Dive for one. I didn't know how to play against it at first. I actually had to have a judge come over and help me with the, like, what they do, because I didn't know what Volcanion? I think it's Volcanion. Let me just make sure that's correct. Yeah, Volcanion and Volcanion EX did. Like, I knew the ability that Volcanion has. I just didn't know what his attack did. Yeah, Volcanion EX, that's what it was. So I had to have a judge tell me what the attack is. And that, so it was just Pyro Volcanion. He played 3/3 Pyro, one of which being the Flare Command one, and he played 2 Pyro Break. It's just really hard to deal with. I think it was 140 HP, maybe it was 150 HP. 150 HP, non-EX that says EXs can't hit it. That's just really hard to deal with. And he just never dead drew. Like, I expect that when I'm using Toad Bats with Lab, if I end just continuously, like over and over again, and keep, getting my Lab down and stuff, and Quaking Punching, that eventually he's probably going to dead draw at least a little bit. But he always had a supporter. So I think there was like 1 turn where he didn't have a supporter actually, but at that point it didn't matter. He was at such an advantage anyway. It was just too much. And then game 2, I managed to pull 1 game out. I knew everything to do the second time because I had already played against it once. So Yeah, it's really hard to figure out how to play against those matchups on the spot, but I think I did play pretty well game one. Taking into account that I'd never played against it before. I didn't even know that was a deck. But yeah, I don't know if I made any misplays or anything. I don't think so. I don't recall anything that was like, ooh, I should have done that or something like that. So I think I played pretty well. Um, and then yeah. So then round two, I play against Night March, and I just kind of forget Pokemon Ranger exists. Um, oh man, somebody just canceled the subscription. Sorry, just got distracted. Uh, so Pokemon, yeah, I kind of just forgot Pokemon Ranger existed. I was playing as Night March, and I don't know. He got down to two prizes, which is usually fine for me because it's like I usually just end him low and then punch and take advantage from there and usually win. Um, but in this situation, he was able to like Sycamore after I end him to two, and then he had Ranger on the next turn. Uh, and yeah, he just Rangered Battle Compressor and knocked out my only Toad with like 11 Night Marchers discarded because of the Fury Belt. And then game two, I won really handily. It was no problem. And game three, he actually almost won. This is crazy. So I end myself to six, and I got no supporter. It just nothing. I just started dead drawing, and I dead drew for like 4 turns, and I almost lost. He almost benched me out, and I'm just like sitting here like, what is going on? But luckily enough, time was called when he was on turn zero, and then he couldn't. He just needed one more turn to take a knockout, and he just couldn't pull it through. Um, and we ended up tying because of that. And honestly, he played really slowly like the whole time. Uh, I kind of I was thinking about asking him to speed up, but I just never did because it was nothing. It wasn't slow enough to be considered like stalling or excessive enough for me to call a judge. It was just all of his actions he did slowly, if you know what I mean. Like he shuffled his deck after every search. He never really said, I'm going back in. Um, he just seemed to move pretty slowly, it seemed like. And I thought he was trying to go for a tie anyway because Night March is a bad matchup. I mean, Toadbats is a bad matchup, so he'd probably be happy with a tie. So I figured that was what was going on. But he seemed a little bit irritated in the end when, it was a tie instead of a win for him because if he just had one more turn, he would have won. But, like, that's kind of what happens when you're playing at that speed, man. Like, you kind of got to expect that, I feel like. But, yeah. So that's how that went. I just wish I tested against and that game I will 100% say was probably my fault. Like the reason the reason I lost game 1 was most likely because I just forgot about Ranger. Like I hadn't tested a single game against Night March with Toadbats like ever. I did at Nationals cuz I played against it, but it wasn't testing. It was just like me playing against it. Um and after Nationals, I was just like, there's no reason for me to test against Toadbats. I just beat every single one 2-0 at Nationals, so, why would I test against it? But, Ranger is a good enough reason, and I really should have. I was of the opinion that Ranger doesn't do, like, much at all, and that I didn't need to worry about it. And I still kind of am of that opinion. Like, Ranger is just not super big. I feel like it definitely won my opponent game 1, but it was only because he was somehow able to make it one of the last cards in his deck. And like if he ever had to discard it earlier in the game, it wouldn't have been of any use to him really. And that did happen game 2, and I feel like that does happen most of the time. I don't know. It's just not something I really feel like I need to worry about too much. Some weird stuff happens sometimes, but um I think it's fine. And this is disgusting. Sorry, I think I'm sick or something, but in this game you guys are watching right now, I haven't really talked much about the actual game, but I'm using one of my primitive lists. Like I've been evolving my Toadbats list for a while, but this is I guess it's done actually now that I think about it. Like the evolution of my Toadbats list is pretty much complete now because we're going into new rotation. So anyway, yeah, so at this point I was playing Giovanni. I didn't know that Giovanni is the worst card you can put in Toadbats at the time, but it is. Please, if you guys are using Toad Bats, never put Giovanni in the deck. It is the worst card you can include, and this is why I'm going to explain it in this video, because I've explained it in articles multiple times, but I feel like a lot of people that watch my YouTube channel don't read my articles because I don't have money or something like that. But the reason why Giovanni is so bad is because really when you look at its benefits, AZ does all of its benefits better. So it draws until you have 5 cards in hand. But with Toad Bats, you almost always put down a Shaman turn 1. So after you put Shaman down, you can always AZ Shaman and put it back down and draw up to 6 cards instead. So it just does that better, pretty much. And then the other thing is, really, if you want to be drawing more cards, you probably shouldn't be using Giovanni anyway. You should be playing N or like Sycamore or something like that. And I realize that sometimes you're left in a situation where it's the only draw card in your hand, but that's pretty rare with Toad Bats. Like, we play 4 N, 4 Sycamore, 4 VS Seeker. Excuse me. So yeah, that doesn't happen very much. And then if you want extra damage, it's like, okay, I'll do 20 extra. Well, if I just used AZ and picked up a Crobat line and then put the bat line back down, I would do 50 extra damage, because a Golbat and a Crobat adds up to 50. So it just does it directly better. And then you can make the argument, well, what if you don't have a Crobat in play? What if you don't have bats in play? Well, if you don't have bats in play, then you should just be playing a draw card to try and get more bats in play. And that's why Giovanni sucks. It's just doesn't do anything as good as other supporters do. And check this out, 10 HP left, I think, right here. Love fighting Fury Belt. This is why I don't play anything but fighting Fury Belt in this deck. It's just amazing. It's so good. Like, Fury Belt is just the best inclusion in this deck. Because you can't Megaphone while you're item locked. So, I don't know, it's just really strong. Love it, love it, love it. And the combination with Rough Seas and Pokemon Center Lady is just super, super good. I really want Pokemon Center Lady back in the list. I had to cut it for Worlds, but I could probably fit it back in. I also had some other cool cards in this list. I had Team Flare Grunt. I had 1 band. I might have been testing 3 Crobat at the time, which is just wrong. I don't know if I had Mew. But yeah, it's a cool list. I wish I could fit Level Ball. That's been one card I've been trying to fit in the deck for a long time. I just never can. Yeah, so that was a lot of talking. I guess I still got a little while to go. It's about 45 minutes. I might split this up into 2 segments because I'm kind of sleepy. But, so, let's see. I think I'm just contemplating where to attach right now. One thing, I think I kind of have forgotten about this recently, but there was this concept that I covered last time I did audio for this, because like I recorded this once, but I forgot to make the audio hooked up to my Yeti microphone, so I was just using my computer microphone, which is awful. It's horrible. But there's this concept that I went over where you kind of just try to stay a little bit ahead of your opponent. And that's the best way to win games. So I'm going to explain it again now. The idea is, like, I don't like to use super scoop ups on my Toads to heal damage very much. I like to use them on Shaman or Crobat most of the time. And that's because I want my opponent to take prizes. So what I'm doing is I'm making it so that I am less vulnerable to end to a low count and less vulnerable to giving my opponent like more cards when they use N. So I like to just keep a slight advantage all the time when I'm ahead. I don't like to take a huge advantage because it ends up backfiring and like giving me the potential to actually lose games like that for at some times. Yeah. So I tend to favor like getting a lot of damage in play and putting them on a lot of different Pokemon instead of just taking knockouts more quickly. Like, if you'll see, I have damage on 2 other Pokemon right now as I take this knockout, and that's because I want to put myself in a position where later on in the game, I can just do bat damage to like 3 different things and like take like 3 knockouts in like 2 turns or something like that. That's usually my game plan. I like to play it as if I was using Dusknoir kind of, just to make myself less vulnerable to and to low counts, because Toad can dead draw. Like even with all of the supporters I play, like it still can dead draw pretty easily. And it happens kind of too frequently for my taste, honestly. The idea is basically that like the item lock kind of makes up for the lack in consistency because Toadbats isn't like the most consistent deck in the world. Like I'm not gonna make an argument saying that it is because it really is not. Um, you know, you miss turn one punch semi frequently. You dead draw semi frequently. Things like that. So it happens. It's less consistent than a deck that has Trainer's Mail in it. And Super Scoop Up can be a consistency card, but it's also your damage output card. So it's like it kind of you have one card trying to fit two purposes, doesn't really help a lot of the time. So that's that's why I like to make sure that I don't get N to low counts too early on in the game. I also like to make my opponent burn N as much as I can while I do have 6 prizes left. Or 4 even. Yeah. But I love the deck. It's my baby, you know. I'm very much a Cali player. All the SoCal players stopped using it, you know. Christy Britton was using it, Mark Garcia, Patrick Martinez, Keon, all those guys were using it. I guess Keon's not a SoCal player, but they all kind of gave up on it once Laser was rotated. I stuck with it because I love it. And now I can say with a lot of confidence actually that I'm probably the best Toadbats player in Standard that there is right now. I mean, that sounds a little bit arrogant, but I mean, just considering I'm like the only person that uses it, like, I don't think it's that arrogant. Like, even when I went to Worlds, I was the only person playing Toadbats. Even after my articles and my successful performance, it was just me and Connor and seniors. And, I think, like, it feels kind of cool. Like, I'm like the Toadbats guy, you know what I mean? In Standard, at least. In Expanded, there might be people that play it better than me. Keon does. Keon's an amazing player. I can't really beat him at much. He's just better than me. And I'm very willing to openly admit that because, you gotta know when someone's better than you. You gotta admit when others have an edge. But, yeah. So, I think this is still game 1. If I remember correctly, Gabe ends up winning one of these games, and then I win another one, and then we go into sudden death or some other kind of time restraint thing like that. And now what I'm trying to do is, so in this situation, I actually think I am going to pick up the Toad. Yeah. So, if I had like 3 prizes left, I don't think I would pick up the Toad, or even 4 prizes left. But since Gabe is now ahead on prizes, I want to stay a little bit ahead of him. So I'm actually going to make it so he can't knock out my Toad this time. And what I'm going to do here is, I can already see my game plan. Like, I haven't been paying much attention, but I just knowing how I work as a player, I'm probably going to punch this thing, knock it out, set up bat damage to knock out the Evil Tall EX with the energy. Oh, that's a cool play right here. I just burned 1 card from my hand because I know I'm not going to use it. But anyway, set up some bat damage so that I can knock out that Evil Tall EX with the energy in 1 hit, and then take my last 2 prizes on Shaman. Or I could resort back to punching, and then punch and damage that Evil Tall EX that already has the damage on it a little bit more. But if I don't have Lysander in hand here, then that's going to mess with that whole strategy. Gabe Sycamore's away 4 items. Let's see. What's he going to do? Yeah, this big Evil Tall is probably going to be problematic for me. The big Evil Tall EX that I'm looking at right now. I don't know if I play like perfectly this game. I might have made a couple mistakes. I wasn't, great with the deck, 2 months ago. Let's see. It was probably even more than 2 months ago. This might have been like 2.5 months ago, maybe even 3 now that I think about it. It was a while ago. Gabe's been waiting on me to upload this for a while. But, I'm finally getting it out there. He's gonna Oblivion on his Evil Taliax. Yeah. And another card I've been considering putting in this deck for a while is Enhanced Hammer. I cut Xerosic out in my most recent list, and I've been okay with that actually. Like, I don't know, I haven't really had much of a problem with it. I've actually been considering two Enhanced Hammer. My friend Nathan Beck suggested playing E Hammer in the list a while ago, and I kind of, my initial thought was just like, well, that sounds cute, that sounds good in some situations. I don't know how needed it is, but it's good. It's really good against Evil Tall decks, and Evil Tall decks can be iffy at times, and Vesper Queen variants can also be iffy at times. So I think it would actually be a pretty good inclusion now. So I think I might try that to E Hammer. I could cut the second AZ and like maybe even Luke. I like Lugia. I don't know. The second AZ and one other card probably for two E Hammer. I think that would be really cool. Um, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just gonna super rod back some stuffs. Some stuffs. Ooh. Getting a lot of coaching done lately. Had a lot of coaching clients. If you guys want to coach, just leave a comment down below or send me a message on Facebook if you like. Or you can send an email to cuttertap@gmail.com. We've got quite a few happy clients. But at the moment, I'm kind of lost because I'm thinking, like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to coach people in? Nobody's even using, like, nobody knows what's good. Am I going to, if I have Lysander in my discard pile, I'm so set right now. Just Lysander that freaking Evil Taliax, Crobat, and destroy it. I don't have Lysander in there, though. Dang it, that's so bad. I set up for 6 and I whiffs. Anyway, what is that noise? I don't really know like how to coach people at the moment because the rotation is about to happen in like 8 days. So it's like if I coach you with the decks that are legal now, that's not going to help you because those are about to not be legal. But I don't know how to coach you for the new format because nobody knows what's good yet. So I have a couple ideas though. I think Zoroark decks are going to be really strong. Zoroark is just a really good card. Zoroark Break is really strong too. And Yveltal EX is still legal. Oblivion Wing Yveltal is still legal. BKT Yveltal is still legal. So like an Yveltal Zoroark deck I think could be really good. I'm so tired. Yeah. And then what else? Oh yeah. So Mega Rayquaza is obviously just very strong. Deck's always been good. It was just not the strongest at Nationals and Worlds because of Night March. But Night March is gone, as you guys know, so Mega Rayquaza has definitely has potential to come back again. AZ is also rotated. I don't know if you guys know that, but AZ was only printed in Phantom Forces as far as I know, and I checked yesterday to make sure. So AZ is gone, which I'm not very happy about. I love that card. Battle Compressor also gone. Another card I love. Team Flare Grunt was reprinted in Generations. So was Golbat and Zubat. I didn't know that until recently. So we're keeping those. What else is changing? Aromatisse is gone. Mega Kangaskhan is gone. We're losing a bunch of stuff. Oh, Mega Manectric, that's a big one. Yeah, a lot of stuff is going away. A lot of stuff's going away. Still legal and expanded though, so there's that. I'm really excited for expanded this year. I don't know though. I feel like they need to ban Getsus. Getsus is just too annoying. I don't know. Yeah, they really need Getsus is just too strong. I don't know how they can continue with that. It makes going first such a huge advantage. So I don't know. Maybe not though. But yeah, I don't know. Expanded is really fun and it's cool, but like certain combos come out every so often that are just too broken. Like certain combos just come out every so often because there's so many sets that are legal. You have so much potential for like crazy ideas that are just really strong. And like uh I think Gets Us with Sound Lab is a good example of that. Um it's just really good. And then Wally like with Jirachi EX is extremely strong in Trevenant, just stuff like that. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. It might be good, it might not be good. Yveltal is pretty much the most dominant deck in the format, and there really isn't much of a way to counter it. It's kind of crazy. I honestly think Yveltal is like Night March and expanded, but better. It's ridiculously strong. Even Night March doesn't beat Yveltal. Uh, it can. It's kind of iffy though. But so that's expanded for you. Yveltal is the best deck, pretty much undeniably. I want to play Toadbats and expanded though, because that's my baby. I mean, I like Yveltal a lot as well. Those are both my decks. I pretty much use Toad and Yveltal for like every tournament. Um, Not really though, because I used Dawn Fan and Brazen Genesect for a little bit as well. Those are the two that I've stuck with most. I've played those for most events. I get bored of one and I switch to the other. I haven't gotten bored of Toadbats in a while. That's been the deck for me for like 3 months now. But I did play Zoroark for a little bit when I was prepping for Worlds this year. And I actually played Yveltal when I was prepping for Worlds this year too, so I guess maybe not. mm. So now my plan is to make a game might just win right here actually. But my plan is to make him take an extra prize. Oh, he's got double puzzle. Yeah, he wins. Yeah, I don't know how unless he doesn't have Life Center discarded. He just double puzzled for one. Why'd you play the VS Sticker? You could just double puzzled for. Okay, Gabe. Anyway, yeah, he double puzzles for one DC and then he plays a Versier in his hand to get the Lysander when he could have just double puzzled for a DC and Lysander. But to each their own. Uh, Moving on to game two. So he took that one pretty handily. I think I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to what I was drawing early game, but if I remember correctly, I just drew really badly. But this matchup can get hard if I don't have a good enough start. If I don't go first. So I'm not, super surprised by that. Using my lavender sleeves, Ultra Pro Pro Mat sleeves are the best. I wish they would endorse me. I need a sponsorship. I only use you guys' sleeves. So please, let me know. I love them. I might have to use Dragon Shields if I don't get endorsed. Let me tell you. Not really. I'm never going to use anything else, but I just love them. Love them. They feel good. Shuffle good. Nothing is the same. Shout out to ProMat Ultra Pros. Please sponsor me. Also, shout out to Sprite. I love Sprite. Please sponsor me as well. I will wear a Sprite shirt to every tournament. I'll wear actually Sprite jacket would be better because I like wearing counter tap shirts to every tournament. So, just let me know, Sprite. Serum Mist ain't nothing compared to you. Yeah. After Worlds and Nationals, it's always weird because like everything just feels kind of dull. Like Worlds and Nationals are so like hype and like so in your face. Everything's happening so fast that like afterwards you kind of just feel very like. Ugh. But I actually didn't even stay for the full 3 days. I drove down Wednesday night. Stayed at Graham's house, my friend Graham Westby. Thursday, played in this invitational tournament. Did really bad. The Master Ballers Invitational, held by Caleb Hidigun. Really cool guy. Shout out to him. And I started out 0-3 and then got one win against Daniel Altavilla. But our game didn't even really count because we just like used different decks. We already knew we weren't gonna make cut anyway, so we were just like messing around. I wouldn't even count that. I would just say I went 0-3 drop actually. Yeah, so that was day one. And then I signed up for the tournament, and me and Danny were trying to build Mega Audino because that was like the deck that we were testing. He told me that like it was like really good, and it was probably like the play if we could make it work like really well. Like if we could make a good list that was consistent. Um, but I just kind of said like I don't know. I don't think we should just because like we have other options. Oh, I had Lugia in this list. That's funny. I had Lugia in and then I took it out before Nationals and then I put it back in before Worlds. Interesting. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So yeah, I wasn't convinced on it just because I felt like I didn't want to switch decks the night before because I didn't have enough practice with it and I didn't know how good the list was gonna be and other things like that. So I figured, better not. I also didn't have that cards for it, so I'd have to buy cards for it. It just seemed like a big risk. I figured I should just stick with a deck that I'm comfortable with, so I didn't end up playing it. But as most of you guys know, I did win Worlds, which is pretty funny. So I guess maybe I should have used it even though I didn't test it enough. I don't know. I probably would have beaten that Pyro deck. Probably would have beaten Night March. Probably would have beaten Metal. It actually would have been really good. We even played Silent Labs, so Age of Slash wouldn't have been an issue for me now that I think about it. So maybe I should have played Mega Audino. It really was a good call. Like, I think some people might think it's a fluke, but the deck is just really strong. It just beats like a lot of stuff. Uh, yeah, it just beats a lot of stuff really hard. There was another guy in day two that was playing Mega Audino, but he was doing it with Evil Tall instead, and Danny ended up getting the list from. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, guys. Danny ended up getting the list from him after day one, and he showed it to me, and I thought it was really cool. But I didn't make it to day two anyway, so it was of no use to me really, and it wasn't of any use to him either because he started out 0-3 and dropped. Probably because he was playing Night March, a deck that he is not super comfortable with. I don't know why he would use that. He should have used Zoroark, like I said, but he didn't. Get my DC 0-6. And then he's going to hit me for 30. Or 40? Oh, yeah, must have a Fury Belt. It's kind of hard to see. I'm really digging this camera, by the way. I don't know if you guys like this camera, but I ordered it a while ago, and it's really been doing me justice. A lot better than my other camera. Excuse me. Might start getting the store set up today for Cutter Tap. Need to make some money, dude. I'm low on cash. My my hope was just to do well at Worlds and make some money that way, like I did at Nationals. Actually, I should talk about that. Actually, that's a pretty funny story. But yeah, that didn't end up working out, as you know, because I went 2-1-2. Should have played Mega Audino. Dang. But anyway, I'm looking at my mom. My mom has a mug in her room, and it says "catfinated," like caffeinated, but catfinated. It's got a picture of a cat. Shout out to my mom. My mom's awesome. I'm in her room right now. It's like the quietest place in the house, so I wanted to have some, quiet while I recorded this. Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, so I was gonna say I don't know if Cutter Tap would have been around if I didn't make top 16 at Nationals. So at Nationals this year, I basically wouldn't have had any money to ooh, going with a double attachment, Danny. Watch yourself. That's not true though. I didn't already attach. What the heck? I think Gabe I think Gabe might have just told me I already attached. I didn't though. I'm sure I didn't because that DC was on my toad at the beginning of my turn. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Keep losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I don't think Cutter Type would be around if it wasn't for making top 16 at Nationals. I basically had risked like my financial situation on doing well at that tournament. I just knew that Toad Bats was like the best play, and I spent like I don't know 800 on a plane ticket and boarding or like a place to stay and stuff like that. Um, Yeah, but if I didn't get that 1500, I don't know if I would have been able to like. I probably wouldn't have been able to pay many of the writers back. I probably would have just ended up getting a job and working full time and not been able to go to Worlds at all in the first place. So I don't know. I don't know if Cutter Tab would even be around. I might have just like discontinued the whole thing until I could get more money. Which is crazy because like I took out, took out a loan on the site, before, so like, I would be in a terrible position, um, financially, and just pretty much in every aspect I would be really screwed. So, pretty big risk I took on that. Talk about having faith in your deck. Like, if I didn't make it, I would just my life would be ruined. And I'm not even joking. I'm laughing about it now just because it ended up working out for me. But like, if it didn't, I would be in such a bad position right now. Um, at nationals, actually, I had put myself at such a position where I had no money in my bank. Like I had no money. I was overdrafted at nationals. I was calling my dad because like I had no money. Like I couldn't even buy food or anything. So the only reason like I was safe was because I sold my friend Gavin Grahowski a mat, so that covered my food, and then I slept on the floor in Keon's room, so that covered my boarding. And then I ended up making, top 16, and then I got some packs and I sold the packs to pay for more food. And then I kind of went home. So that's how I kept myself afloat for the weekend. Pretty crazy. Nationals this year was one of the best experiences of my life. I gotta say that was really fun. I was really happy to like do better than I did last year by making top 16 instead of top 32. I was really hoping for top 16 this year at Worlds, but the format was just so bad. Like I don't know. I think Nationals format was better than Worlds format. Um, it was just disgusting. Like you can't. I don't think you can reliably uh do well in the format that we experienced at uh Worlds this year. Like if you look at who did well, I was looking at the win-ins and stuff like that, and like who made it to day two and stuff like that. I believe it was exactly 31 players that made it to day two, and it was not a ton of those were known good players. I was really, um, oh, what? Somebody downgraded their membership? No. Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Why are you doing that? Anyway. Ooh, we got a new count. It's the same guy. All right. Sorry. I'm kind of multitasking here. Um, guess he didn't have the money to support your subscription. Unfortunate. Uh, God, I'm all over the place today. Yeah, so nationals. Yeah, so that was an experience to say the least. But yeah, Worlds format was just so bad this year. I really, I don't know, I was really disappointed by it. Like it seemed like most of the time what would happen is we would start with a new rotation that gave us a format that wasn't that great, and then as it kind of worked its kinks out, coming into nationals, it was decent. It was a pretty good format, and then at Worlds, it was a pretty good format. That's like kind of just what I came to expect because it happened in the last 2 years. Um, but not this year. It just didn't happen this year. Night March just stayed dominant. Um, and I guess their only real counter deck to it that was successful was I think Greninja and I guess Mega Audino. So, um, just really ugly, just a really ugly format. And the thing with Greninja is it's inconsistent. So like when you have the only deck that counters the best deck as being inconsistent, it's like you can't really have a real skill based format because it's just like, well, does the counter deck run hot or not? And it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I'm really disappointed in um I guess the Pokemon Company in general, just like that they made these combination of cards legal. It's pretty disappointing. But I'm really looking forward to next season. I think next season is going to be amazing. I'm really, really excited for it. Because there's just so many things that are going to be viable. It seems like you have like Zoroark, Mega Dino, Mega Rayquaza, just like Xerneas. Xerneas is just a good card that could be combined with several things. Yon Mega, Vespiquen. I think Vespiquen can still be good without Battle Compressor, just if you run a lot of Pokemon and you run 4 Ultra Ball and 4 Battle for Professor Sycamore. Um, what else? Toad is rotated, so I can't play my baby anymore. Vileplume will still be around, which will be a pain, but there's no like really annoying item lock. I love Toad, but I could just as easily complain about it because it's annoying to play against. But yeah, there's no real. Oh, yeah, this is big. There's no real uh annoying item lock, and there's no super dominant deck anymore. I feel like so. I think that's really good. Um, and control is definitely my playstyle, so I might end up playing Vileplume. Um, but I also like other deck types. Like I like Yveltal a lot. So and that's not control at all. So I'll probably end up playing like Zoroark, or something for a while. It seems really good because people are hyping Mega Ray, and it stomps that into the ground. So that's cool. And then um, there's also Mega Mewtwo, Primal Kyogre, Groudon. There's tons of stuff, tons of options. Volcanion can be good. So I think we're looking at a really interesting format. I don't really know what's gonna happen with it, but I'm really excited for it. It's gonna be fresh, you know. So, hype, hype. Yep. Yeah, and I'm recording this on the 22nd, so rotation is happening in just 8 days now. Back at this time, I had an Aqua base in the list, which was interesting. Just like the Toad Tina deck from Nationals that got top 4, I think. Um, so that's crazy. I ended up cutting that. It was really only there for Greninja in the first place. Um, so just felt like I didn't need it. What are you gonna do now, Gabe? If he can respond with an Evil Ball for knockout, I think he just wins. Like, I don't know how. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, like, all he needs is an Evoltal EX with an energy and a muscle band, and he can one-shot my Toad. Like, what do you... you need... And now Fear Belt works as well. Like, he's got to pull this off. If he doesn't pull this off, I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm looking at my record from last year's Worlds, going 4-2-1 at 24th place, right above Keon and Jason Klasinski. So that feels good. Well, it did feel good when it happened, but it is over. It is over now. And Tito Santosa still beat me in the last round to knock me down to that placing. I would have taken a seed. Dang it. Oh, I gotta turn off Facebook. That's probably annoying. You guys can hear that noise. Ooh, so Gabe attaches to Zura. Maybe he doesn't have a floatstone or something? That's really big. He could have just, like, won with that, basically. I really have charm for that Asian. I guess he's just gonna Zerasic. Seems like a lackluster play. Yeah, things are looking good for me right now. I'm ahead on prizes. Can knock out the Zora pretty easily. Just attach an energy and Lysander up that Shaman. I can win this turn, actually, if I just have Crobat Lysander energy. So I have Scoop Up. I guess I'm going to play that first. Tails. Oh, yeah, I was probably going to Crobat that way. Look at all that energy and cards in my hand. Jeez. I might just go for the Lysander and knock out the Shaman now. Ooh, I go for the Evil's LAX. Seems like a bad play, honestly. I guess I can one-shot it, so that's cool. Oh, I had Delinquent as well. So that was another card I was testing that I ended up taking out for Nationals and ended up putting back in for Worlds. It's kind of cool. I like it a lot, because Delinquent's really nice for when... Well, I say this now, but it never actually ended up going this way, but when you've been Quaking Punch for a couple turns, or just several turns even, and like you end up just going, um, end up just like you're about to grenade hammer. So like you go quaking punch, quaking punch, and then when you're gonna grenade hammer, you play delinquent so that they discard their items, so that they can take less advantage of items when you let them use items again once you grenade hammer. That's the idea behind it. It's also just really good against Waterbox and Trevenant though, so that you can like counter their stadiums more easily with rough seas against Trevenant, and then get rid of the rough seas um, against Waterbox. And it did help me. I played against a straight Toad, just a straight Toad Shaman deck at Worlds as well. That was one of my wins. And I delinquented away his rough seas a couple times, which was really helpful. I also that matchup was really funny. I against him, we had but somewhere between 20 and 30 turns straight where it was just Quaking Punch, draw, rough seas, Quaking Punch, rough seas, draw, back and forth. We just did the same thing, and neither of us did any damage because neither of us had any Fighting Fury Belt in play. And so it was just 30 heal 30, 30 heal 30 over and over again, and I was perfectly fine doing that. Like I just sat there letting it happen because I took game one, so I was like, well, if we just don't finish game two, then I'm gonna win, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah. At the end, he thought it was a tie. I guess he didn't understand that if one person wins one game, and then no other games are finished, that it's not a tie. But that is how it works. So I ended up taking that game, or that set. He also flipped really poorly on Super Scoop Ups and Crushing Hammers, like really poorly. I think I got a little bit lucky. He also didn't play super optimally, I think, though. Like there was a couple times where he just didn't Quaking Punch. He Sky Returned instead to get Shamans off the board, I guess. Which I was not understanding. But, that's how that goes, I guess. He was a newer player. I think it was his first Worlds. His pop ID was a pretty new pop ID. So I knew, he was newer to the game. Can't remember his name. He wasn't from America. But yeah, I hope they up the CP needed for Worlds this year because, it's just too low right now. 300 is so easy. Like anyone can get 300. And if you haven't if you have tried to get to Worlds and you haven't done it, I don't mean to insult you by saying that it's so easy. Like it's just once you understand what is needed for every tournament, it's really quite simple just to do the same thing every time and get the placings. And if you guys are having trouble getting a 300 CP, honestly, just send me a message. I'll coach you, and I know how to get you there. I've like I said with Connor Peterson, he used my deck list to get second at place at Worlds, in seniors. So, if I just coach you guys, I can get you to the same thing. I think coaching's very underrated. Like people just don't understand how worth it is. Like if you give me, it's like 10 or 12 bucks an hour depending if you have a stage 2 membership. And if you just do that, I don't know, 3 hours a week or something like that and practice on your own, you're gonna do really well at every tournament. I mean it really works. I just gave Connor a list and practiced with him, and he got second. So if that doesn't prove, he made $10,000. People were like, coaching isn't worth my time, it costs too much money. Well, guess what? My friend just made $10,000. So I think it is worth your money, especially if you're a senior. You'll get there. And obviously I didn't do amazing at Worlds, but I'm pretty sure that's just because it's an awful format. I won't pretend that I didn't misplay when I went against Night March. But I think if I would have just taken my own advice, when I coach people, if I just would have been more focused, I would have been fine. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I just got kind of cocky because it's Night March and it's an easy matchup. But yeah, I don't know. This is actually the second year in a row that my list has gotten second place in seniors. I don't know if you guys know, but last year Jeffrey Chang got second place with Dawn Fan, straight Dawn Fan, and me and him used the exact same 60. I ended up getting 24th or 23rd with that exact same list. So I have a really good history of making good deck lists that do well at tournaments. I do think I'm one of the game's best deck builders, and I guess that's kind of arrogant. But it's just like me and my team have so many good placings, and like the people I coach have so many good placings with our lists, and I just know they're like really refined and good lists usually. So I don't think it's very arrogant. I think it's just kind of a matter of like just look at the placements we have, you know. Um, but it's really easy. Like honestly, deck building and playing, it's all just easy stuff once you understand the concepts, and I explain it to people. They're really, once you just practice the ideas, and you start doing well. Like, uh, it's quite simple. It's practice makes perfect. It's just the thing is, practice makes perfect a lot more quickly if you know what you're supposed to be practicing. You know what I mean? Like people play and they practice and then they do okay and they get better. But the thing is, if you don't know what to focus on and what to practice, you're not going to do as well. So you have to learn from other people, like what to focus on so that you can improve. You know what I mean? Like you can keep trying on your own and you'll get better at a regular rate, but why not just do coaching or read articles and learn how to do things better at like a way faster rate so that you can actually make money at tournaments. And especially with, the added prize support for next season, like coaching and articles and things like that are totally going to make you back your money. Like, I know this probably just sounds like a big rant on me, like talking about like go sub to Cutter Tap or go coach a Cutter Tap. It probably sounds like that, but I'm like, honestly, this is just what's coming to my head right now. I'm just saying like what I'm thinking as I'm thinking it. Um, and this should actually be one prize. I think we both remember here. It's just supposed to be one prize. Cause I think it's sudden death. Yeah, it's sudden death. So we're actually just supposed to be using one prize, and I get lucky enough to go first here, so I'm gonna take advantage of that, I think. Um, yeah. So really, what all I have to do is, punch the shaman 4 times and I win. Did I get hits? Oh, I think I got tails. Dang it. Yeah, so I'm gonna end us both to 1. Do that while I have the advantage. Kind of a risky play, honestly, because I could just as easily like whiff Golbat or something, or whiff supporter and be in a really bad position. Um, but I know that Gabe started with Shaman, so like he really can't do much. Yeah, if I can just go Golbat and punch 3 times, I'm in the money. I got my one prize that I need. We're just sitting here waiting. I don't know what we're doing, honestly. Like, I don't know what's going on. What did I get? What did I get? Oh, I just pass. The suspense is killing me. I just got a Verseeker and Ultra Ball. Can't do anything with that. Oh, it just passes again. What did I get? Oh, I end again. Alright, give me a Golbat, dude. Come on, give me a Golbat. That'd be so good if I got Golbat right now. Oh my gosh. Even energy, like if I just get DC, water, or Golbat, I'm set. Sycamore would be amazing as well. There's actually a lot of cards I can draw right now. Like, it probably seems like I get lucky if I, like let's see, so 4 Sycamore plus 3 Golbat, that's 7 cards. I could also get one of my 5 water, so that's 5 more, so that's 12. Plus I could draw DCE, and I play 3 more DCE, so there's 15 cards I could actually draw right now that would work for me, and I get the Sycamore, so that's probably one of the best ones I could have gotten, honestly. But at the same time, I don't really have to get that lucky to hit something just to make me be able to Quaking Punch. Oh, and I get the band too. Oh my god. Rip with extra Ripperoonie on top Kabloony. So, I don't know why I attached, but I did. So I'm just gonna punch, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, Gabe can't really do anything here. He can Sky Return into nothing and lose that way if he wants, but, he can't play items. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video, guys. Pretty funny game from League. Yeah, he Sky Returns. So, Gabe has been waiting on me to upload this for a while, so I figured I'd finally do commentary and record it. So that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Go to cuttertap.com, check it out, send me a message. Have a good day. Talk to you guys later.